Well, I appreciate you joining us today. I'm excited to talk through. As an agency, we focus on paid social. We've done some things with organic social, but we mainly focus on paid social. So it'll be interesting to hear a lot about the organic social side because I know that's what you all handle or help people handle. Reporting, all that goes along with that. With paid social, it's very easy to say dollar in, dollar out. But I think there's some more complexities and some more things that come into organic social that I'm looking forward to talking about. But enough of me on a tangent. Share a little bit about yourself, if you could, your background, the current company you're at, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah, so I'm Miruna. I'm the CMO at Planable. So I handle everything marketing. Of course, not everything because there's a huge team
Yeah.
here, but yeah, I help with some of that. And Planable is a social media collaboration platform. So we help marketing teams and agencies kind of work together on the content that they create for social media platforms. As you mentioned, mostly organic, and some of the times we go beyond social. Our clients go beyond social, so blogs, newsletters, all of that.
Okay. And so you handle the scheduling, the content calendar, the client approvals, that whole process, and then making sure that they do reporting as well, which is interesting because I think a lot of, well, let me not speak on something I'm not familiar with. Most of the tools that I've seen really focus on the scheduling side of things, not as complex on the reporting side of things. So it sounds like you all put priority on reporting as well.
I wouldn't say it's a big priority for us. It is a new thing because
Okay.
we kind of started with, and we still are very, very focused on the collaboration side of things because that is often kind of deprioritized. I'd say it's a lot of make do makeshift workflows out there using all the generic tools and all the generic communication platforms, and so that's kind of like the core. The heart of Planable is the collaboration side of things. The reporting is newer. It was brought in beginning of last year,
Okay.
and yeah, we're now helping companies do that too.
Well, as you've started in the last 12 months, 14 months, looking at reporting, how have you all looked at going after and attacking that to make sure that there is tools for agencies to report in their own way, but also
Mhm.
make sure that they're reporting the information that's needed? I guess that's a good starting point. And then I'd love to dive into just overall organic social reporting as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we did a lot of discovery, and we do understand like there is this difference of just data tracking in general and reporting, which is sort of like this layer of helping stakeholders understand why the efforts that are being put into social are constant, and what's happening with that. And so reporting seems like a struggle for sure for social media marketers, just because of this hard to express, to find the ROI. It's just super difficult to do. It is a long-term game, and so by default, it's a struggle of the professionals that work in this space. And
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that the biggest struggle is to like digest all that information, find the insights, improve the ROI.
Yeah, that's a big marketers spend a lot of time just searching for data and aggregating it together when they should
Mhm.
really be spending time making decisions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's good to hear that you all are acknowledging that. When it comes, as I shared, when it comes to reporting with paid social, dollar in, dollar out, right? Which the paid media industry, I don't want to say we're moving away from like return on ad spend, but also seeing there that return on ad spend is a bit of a short-sighted metric, and there's other aspects with paid social growth that are important when it comes to building out reports. I mean, KPIs, key performance indicators, what are the key things that you all feel that agencies or brands should be focusing on communicating as a priority for organic social?
I definitely think it's the ones that show quality. It's there's a lot of vanity metrics. That's kind of the everyone is very focused on that. That you can report huge impressions or reach or whatever, and kind of impress the or believe that you can impress the stakeholders. But I definitely focus on the quality aspect, like engagement rate, impression rate, click through rate, all of that, all of those signals that show that you're speaking to the right audience and that you're creating the right feeling and the right rapport with the audience that you're speaking towards. I do believe that social is it is less and less about clicks and more about, the zero click content and the engagement and the gaining that sort of personality and clout on social for whatever your brand stands for. And so I think that is the focus right now, and the metrics should definitely reflect that. And there should be this effort of education within the company that volume is one thing. Yes, we can get the followers. Sure, that's always has a paid aspect to it. But the organic, it's about brand building. It's about report building, and yeah.
Yeah, that's important with, especially, you think about like influencers when you're looking at follower count. One thing that we do when we're sourcing influencers is oftentimes people talk about CPMs relative to followers, but we try to look at like an influencer's most recent 9 videos and then understand what's the CPMs based off of that, because that's the actual reach. The follower count is cool, but to me at least, it doesn't fully matter because it's really about the active people that you're reaching in each post. So it sounds like that's y'all's focus as well, with engagement rates and growth based on percentage compared to follower count and things like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We do influencer marketing here at Planable too, like as a brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the struggles of vetting or of assessing the potential of an influencer. And yeah, I only look at the last few posts as well, and I look at the engagement and the quality of that engagement. I mean, there's a lot of hacks to grow that engagement too, but the feeling of community is what's really gonna bring the results.
Yeah, I've seen in the e-commerce space, thought leaders in the e-commerce space are really talking in 2025 about the importance of organic social. It's historically always been paid social or paid media as the front runner, just because there's
Hmm.
dollar in, dollar out that way. But as CPMs continue to rise and we continue to get restrictions and things like that with paid social, and there now being a focus on that brand building and building out a community, organic social is a great opportunity for that.
Yeah, marketing is volatile in the sense of we're depending on so many platforms and so many changes, and
Mhm.
Google decides to do whatever it does and highly increase our costs, and then Instagram same, and so on. But everything becomes easier if you have a stronger brand, and if on social in particular, everything is easier if you have the right content for organic, firstly, because if something has the signs of traction on organic, then it's going to make for a great ad. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not, they're not mutually exclusive. It's not content for ad, of course. I'm sure you know this, but I think organic is a many waste the opportunity of actually testing content for a bit to see how people naturally react, how their audience, the followership that you've gained, naturally react to that content.
Yeah, I think that's important to like add a layer onto reporting. So you can,
Hmm.
on the ad side, on the organic post side, it could be very easy to say like this post performed well in this silo and this post performed well. But also, from my perspective, like you're saying, like these 3 posts performed well because we were testing this messaging angle or because we were testing this type of content, and these 3 did not because of this messaging angle or content. And now we're going to start moving more towards this category and away from this category. So like setting high level tags or high level categories with the content that you're running that way.
Yeah, yeah, and organic speaks a lot about how it helps you really. Make your ads a lot more efficient,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you don't really have that information when you're running ads only and you're not really doing anything particular for organic, and you don't have like dedicated people for content building and for being, social native right there on the platform, then I do believe that ads can, there's single part of the story. That's what I'm trying to get at. You can look at those metrics and sound right and compare them to benchmarks in the industry, and the click-through rate sounds good and the CPC sounds good and whatever, it seems like you're within benchmarks.
Mhm.
But if you start thinking organic first, which is that challenge of really getting the attention, then automatically you're going to see the results in paid too.
Yeah, and do you spend time? So I know you said you're CMO at Planable, right? Do you spend time working on, talking through, collaborating with team on organic content strategy?
Yeah, we do. It's definitely a trial and error for us. Kind of, I wouldn't say we've conquered the social media organic game.
Mhm.
We are in the SaaS industry, which isn't traditionally B2B SaaS isn't like the industry that we all look up to when it comes to social media
Yeah.
organic. So it's definitely, yeah, it's something. It doesn't have a playbook. Um, we want to stay away from the playbook also, but we work together on the content because we're still finding the right balance, I guess,
Yeah.
between funny, educative, product focused, and all of that.
Yeah, it's like a mix. Like I know there's companies like ClickUp that have like specific channels like ClickUp Comedy and stuff like that. That like
Hmm.
all it is comedy, and those are great for reach and impression. So it's a question of like, what is that balance? You know what I mean? Like how much
Yeah.
do we give, and then how much do we ask as we go forward as well? And kind of
Yeah.
thinking through balance on a different note, we've touched on this briefly, but just kind of talk to it directly. When you're looking at communicating with different stakeholders, if you're an agency and you have a client, balancing building out performance based on engagement metrics and then also like business outcomes, because I feel, and I could be wrong with this, but I feel that agencies will have to face that hurdle of, okay, what does this mean for sales or for revenue when they're talking to a CEO? And it's not always as transparent to communicate that about organic social, although you can look at like Google Analytics to see traffic from social pages and increases in direct traffic, or if you're working with influencers in a certain city or boosting posts in a certain city, if you notice sale increase in that geographic location, you can assume that it might be from that. But what's your thoughts when it comes to like balancing engagement metrics and business outcomes for reporting?
Um, I think first of all that social comes in stages a bit, right? It depends when, as an agency, where the brand is and its presence on social, how strong is it? Because if you're taking a page that has, I don't know, tens of thousands of followers, that's one thing. And then you can start focusing on business outcomes, and you can promise that with the right balance, you will be able to bring business outcomes. But I think that a page that is just starting out, it's very difficult unless you have like a very strong community that you just signal at, hey, we're on Instagram now too, and you'll be able to directly transform that presence on this new platform into an productive one. Then first of all, yeah, you can do the business metrics. Otherwise, I would go in stages. Okay, we're just starting out now. I, as an agency, honestly, I would not be able to promise organically that you'll get any sort of result until you manage to bring the page up. If if there's urgency, then you have to combine it with paid for sure. Um, and after that, you can start to find this balance. I think social has to be. It's a matter of priorities, right? It's a matter of fine tuning how much selling is too much selling. And if you have the strategy really well thought out, like I'll do 60% this, 40% that, and you know what works for the audience, and when the reach starts going down, because there's all sorts of signals, then you know how much you can do with that space that you have, right? If you have 5% space for pushing sales or anything that drives conversions, then those are the results. That's the easy math that you can do.
Yeah, and I like one thing that you said. I think it's very easy for any channel to get lumped into being an independent island. And from the brand perspective, just playing both sides of the fence here. From the brand perspective, you definitely want to be able to hold your external partner, whoever it is, responsible for performance on their channel, right? But at the same time, it is very important to think organic social, Facebook ads, especially on the B2B side. This is even more on B2B than it is on e-commerce because, demand gen and all of that. But like they all play into each other. It is omni-channel, and it really takes coordination and buy-in top down from the brand side to make sure that that is understood and followed as things go forward as well.
Yes, I am like, that is exactly the next point that I wanted to make, because I do believe that we constantly forget that marketing is an entire ecosystem.
Mhm.
You don't have to treat social media organic as another revenue channel, because you can't have 10 revenue channels. That's just not how it works. What you can do is, like, if you have super strong remarketing, if you have content that converts, if you know that, I don't know, you do lead conversions very well afterwards, then you can focus the power the social media organic has on whatever converts better afterwards. Like, you can, if you send them to a website, as an agency, as a professional, you can position the channel right. Okay, so you
Mhm.
have, I don't know, you have a paid team. Okay, great. What I can do is fuel a lot more visits into that paid team, or a lot more leads into that sales team, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's this is really a mostly a B2B term, but it's generating demand, right?
Yeah.
It's helping people find you. It's helping be one of those first touch points of discovery. From the paid side, organic social is a great opportunity to be a validator, because oftentimes people will see an ad and then click through to see your page to see if you're legit and you're posting or you're not. It's been, but it's becoming something that is a staple for businesses to have running, organic social, that is, to just be out there and be involved in conversations and to get in front of people. I mean, you think of Duolingo, you think of Slim Jim, you think of C4, like these different companies that have very big social presences, whether it's on Twitter or it's on Instagram. And it helps create conversation, just like I just shared their brand names right here, to then open them up to be discovered that way.
Yep. And yeah, and one more thing I'd say here is to we also forget that social is its own game, and it doesn't really resemble in many ways other channels,
Mm-hmm.
because there's, if you work in marketing, it's very easy to think distribution, and you have the content and you just distribute it through sponsorships, influencers, social ads, paid, whatever it is, and you feel like that's the main asset. But on social in particular, the social media marketer has to be a very, very good translator in order for that distribution channel to work, because it has to translate whatever your brand goal is into something that feels social first, into a
Mm-hmm.
meme, into a, I don't know, into an adaptation of a trend, into something that will feel social first and not a distribution channel, because that no longer works. And it's, I don't know, I feel like it's years now since posting links on social just doesn't work anymore. But some brands are still trying.
Yeah, and it really takes, we've seen this with hiring designers for paid ads, but it applies
Hmm.
here as well. Um, you have to find somebody that wants to be the best at the channel that they're operating so that they are self-teaching and self-correcting and self-learning. We've worked with great designers, like amazing designers, but their priority or their focus that they wanted to go towards was branding content. And while you need some brand aspect with creative for Facebook ad, yes, but they wanted to be on like the brand guide side and that. So they came in strong, and then over time started to lose focus on the paid ads aspect because they wanted to be on branding content. So we started having QC issues and things like that. And same thing with organic social is, just because like with a media buyer, it's easy to say like, oh, I know how to do Google ads or I know how to do Facebook ads, right? Creative's the same. Just because you can make a YouTube thumbnail does not mean you can make a good Instagram reel. Like, they are completely different ball games. So knowing your platform and knowing how, like you said, to take business goals and turning it into channel specific content is a craft of its own.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, well, this has been a good conversation. Anything that you feel like we missed that either comes up in conversations internally or that you feel like should be shared with agencies before we jump off here today?
Yeah, I think when I think challenges in reporting generally, especially for agencies, I think it's this idea, this pressure that they put on just sharing the right numbers, the right metrics, versus just thinking of stakeholders as partners. I think when you want to put on a pretty image and present it as is, that's one thing, and it usually doesn't necessarily build trust or empower good ideas. But when you share the insights that you found, the like gold nuggets, the interesting information that you already have some ideas on how to act upon, that kind of transforms the whole conversation from one-to-one kind of presentation. This is what it is. Thank you. Please, a round of applause, and goodbye. It turns it into a whole collaborative conversation, and then you have a lot more chances to have the backing that you need on going the long-term social media organic game.
Yes, and I will echo on that with a quick laughable example from my history. We were working 3 years ago, I believe it was 3 or 4 years ago, with a very large software company, and the CMO was on the call, and they had been CMO of a household shoe company. And I prepared this like 45-minute presentation with all these KPIs and so many slides. And after 45 minutes, her first response was, "This is great, but how can we get all this information in about 5 or 10 minutes and just focus on the next steps?" And I was like, okay, like I did not personalize this to you well enough. And I just focused on sharing all the data and didn't just share the next steps. So very important.
Yeah.
Very,
Yes. Oversharing, big
yeah,
problem.
very important that way. So, well, I appreciate this conversation. Where can people learn more or connect with you and learn more about your business?
So yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Most active there, and you can find out more about Planable on planable.io.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate the time. Great conversation today.
Awesome. Thanks so much.